So something absolutely huge is about to happen to the markets within the next like 5-6 hours. This is an absolutely essential video, and it's to do with the Fed interest rates. Now, before I start talking to you about those numbers and diving into that stuff, which is slightly more boring, I want to highlight to you guys that a lot of this rally, in my opinion, came because there were these rumors of the Fed actually slowing down interest rate hikes. That might still happen, and I'm going to show you some really cool data in a little bit later on in this video, but I believe that that's why this pump started. That is why, ladies and gents, I decided to open this long position right here, which I saw some really nice profits on. I'll talk about that a little bit later. And it's also why a few days prior I bought Bitcoin down at 19.1. If you're not already in VIP, all of those updates, including the in-depth explanations behind why I made those decisions and how they've developed over time, went inside of VIP, which you can join by following these steps. Find the Telegram link in the description, click on my name, and then click on send message to ask me how to join. But this is essential because right now we're potentially starting to see signs right now from experts that actually we could be seeing the same interest rate hike, 3/4 of a point, 75 basis points. We could be seeing the same thing happening again within these next hours. So this is basically it, is that within about 6 hours from the time of me recording right now, we're going to be seeing that next news from the Fed, and it's expected that we're actually going to be getting the same interest rate hikes that we've been getting before. And this is a pretty big deal. You know, the last 3 hikes that we've seen, June, July, and September of this year, were each 75 basis point hikes. And before that, we were looking at 25 and then 50 respectively. So, you know, we are looking at interest rate hikes being quite strong and not necessarily laying off. Now, the rumors are that this could slow down after what we get within 6 hours. But the reason this is all very significant, guys, is that if interest rates are going to be increasing, that is generally going to impact these markets in a negative way. What does that mean for Bitcoin? Whatever gains we've made could potentially be lost, and Bitcoin could end up trading a little bit lower. I'm going to show you some really, really interesting data to do with that. So if you're excited for it, do me a favor and smash up the likes for this emergency video. I'm going to come at you guys with a normal video most likely later on today as well, but this one was essential. I really needed to get this one out to you very, very soon, because right now, guys, the other thing that I'm seeing on this chart, just in terms of some potential other signs of weakness, is you know, really just at this support level, right? Bitcoin has had this support level now going back to the 26th of October, so basically 1 week ago. Let's see, yeah, it was basically a week ago. We've had this support level. We've been bouncing off it really nicely, but guys, look, we're really kind of stuck to this support level right now. We're really kind of glued up to it right now, and that's not a good sign in my opinion, right? Generally, if we keep kind of hugging the same area of support and we keep coming down to it very quickly, that is a sign that our support level might end up breaking, in my view, right? If you take a look at these first 3 hits of our support level, they were pretty nicely spaced out, right? The first one, you know, we had a 2-day gap, 2.5-day gap. The next one, we had a 3-day gap. But the next one after that, we've had a 1-day gap, and the next one after that, only 15 hours. It's pretty clear to see, ladies and gents, that Bitcoin is pretty much just glued to the support level. And again, you guys have heard me talking about this a lot on this YouTube channel. I say it the same when we're going up and the same when we're going down, ladies and gents. You know, if we are looking like we just kind of keep being stuck to a particular level, well, that could be a sign that we're actually about to lose that level. And in this case, that would be support. If we look at this on the daily 4-hour, on the 4-hour EMA ribbon, it's the same picture right here, right? We've been stuck in this support area now since we dipped into it. We haven't really come out of it for about 2.5 days. Very significant time frame, ladies and gents, to be stuck in a support level. If you look at what happened previously when we fell into the support EMA ribbon, we were out of it within 12 hours. Bitcoin dipped in it, got a quick little flash dump, and bam, came straight out. That hasn't happened right now. We're not showing those same signs of strength. So things are starting to shape up to show me here that, you know, and I was saying this in the last video, Bitcoin still looks okay, but it's losing its bullish window of opportunity in the short term. And I think we're seeing that kind of manifest itself in the lead up to this news from the Fed. Now, you guys might be wondering, what about my long position? Well, I've already updated VIPs on what I've done here. I've secured profits right up to the top of Bitcoin's rally right here, right up to this top. I've been securing profits, which I'm very, very happy about. But I have now decided to close the rest of my position. I can't remember remember, I think it was like 32% profit, something like that, that I closed out the remainder of my position, which is absolutely fucking amazing, guys. To put it in perspective, you know, if I wasn't trading Bitcoin normally, I'm sorry, with leverage the way I usually do, I would have had to see Bitcoin rise all the way up to $26,000, and I've actually made more profit than this. I would have had to see Bitcoin rise all the way up to $26,000 to get the same profit that I made for Bitcoin just rising up here. And if you're wondering how I did it because I'm trading with leverage. This is exactly the kind of thing that I teach about inside of 𝗓𝗡ly's VIP and with our 𝗓𝗡ly's Academy that most of our members are going to be getting completely free of charge. Again, I want to remind you guys that those of you who take our yearly plan are going to be able to get phone calls with me around the clock as well. Very, very cool. We've been super, super helpful to those of you who are in the yearly group who've been able to actually get on the phone with me. You guys have absolutely loved it. It's been a very, very popular new offer that we've made for you guys since we introduced it. And of course, I've been trading this on leveraged exchanges, right? So BitGet and Bybit are the two exchanges that I'm primarily using right now. And BitGet is offering you guys a very easy $400 bonus, right? Compared to what other exchanges are offering in terms of the free cash that they give you, BitGet's one is actually pretty damn straightforward. Go ahead and check it out with the link in the description down below to be able to take advantage of what's going on in the market. I'm super happy with it. Been using these guys for a little bit. Obviously, been using Bybit for a very long time. They're also offering you guys up to $4,000 in bonuses, so take advantage of these offers while you can. They are not going to be lasting forever. And the cool thing with BitGet, as you already know, is that they don't require a VPN, they don't require KYC, all that beautiful, beautiful stuff to make it very accessible to anyone in the world. Go ahead and check it out. If it does say you're in a restricted territory, don't worry about it. You can still use it. Withdrawal limit super high, well worth checking out. Super stable, reliable exchange as well. Moving back to the charts though, like I said, this is one of those things where we're potentially starting to see that, yeah, we're just hugging our support levels a little bit too much. We might end up dropping down. And so, you know, the key thing I've been saying before we get to that, you know, Fed interest rate hike stuff is, you know, as long as we don't kind of lose this $20,000 level, I think we're going to be okay. You know, I closed out my long position, but does that mean I'm bearish? No, it just means that I don't want to be trading. I don't want to be in a trade when we're heading into an area of potentially much higher volatility, especially when I'm starting to see reasons that I perhaps shouldn't be in this trade anymore. If I'm wrong, that's totally okay, because I still have my buy on Bitcoin, which I got like, you know, over $1,000 ago when we were, you know, a fair bit lower. So I'm still sitting on a higher Bitcoin allocation than I was sitting on, you know, 2 weeks ago, let's say. So I'm pretty happy if Bitcoin rises anyway. And if it does drop, I'll probably look to re-enter this position. Again, I'm going to be looking to do that on BitGet and Bybit. So check them out down below to get the free cash. You don't even have to risk your own money if you want to trade with these platforms. You literally just make your deposit, meet the requirements here. This one, like I said, is super easy to get compared to other exchanges out there. And then you can trade with that free cash. You don't even have to risk your own money. You know, and all of those updates on the trades that I make will be going right inside of VIP, so check that out as well. But again, $20,000 is going to be that level to watch. As long as we stay above this level, I think we're good, and I think there's a good chance that we're going to be able to do that even if we get this interest rate hike news at 75 basis points. And my reasoning for that is quite simply because Bitcoin has actually, yeah, like I said in the last video, given itself some really nice breathing space, you know, and the dollar has actually ended up dropping, by the way. So the bad news is that the dollar ended up topping out exactly where I said it would, you know, and Bitcoin hasn't actually even really shot up very much. So again, we're starting to see those signs of weakness. Now, obviously, these are, you know, just day-to-day fluctuations, right? So I'm not trying to say that this is gospel or anything like that, but you know, I do think that there's some really, you know, quite serious significance behind these things anyway, and that's why I want to bring them to your attention. But speaking of serious significance, guys, take a look at this. So this is Bitcoin's chart on the daily time frame, and right here I'm showing you guys each time there was an interest rate hike and what that interest rate hike was. So over here, this is back in March of this year, we saw a 0.25% interest rate hike. So again, that's this one right here, 0.25. Then we saw 50 basis points, 75, 75, 75. That's all on this chart. So the 50 basis points hike right here, the 75 hike, the 75 hike, and the final 75 hike that we've had most recently. You know, generally, there isn't a real correlation between, you know, these interest rate hikes and Bitcoin dropping. It's not like there's a super noticeable correlation or anything like that at the moment. But, you know, what we do have, I think, fairly clearly is just afterwards, we're getting these dumps anyway. So what I think is that this just happens to line up with the fact that we're in a bear market, the fact that this market has been trending down. I don't want to read too deep into it. I don't think that we should, but I do think that this is still something that's worth paying attention to nonetheless. So that's something that I wanted to point out to you guys. But this is actually even more clear when we look at what's going on with the dollar, because this is the same time frames that we're showing you right here, the same kind of times. But on the dollar, you can see with these 1, 2, 3, 4 examples right here, they resulted in pumps on the dollar index. And this one right here, while it resulted immediately in a dump, it still took the dollar index higher. So this is each time we got these rate hikes, the dollar was doing pretty damn well, guys, against well, the basket of other currencies that make up the dollar index, and that was directly following each of these rate hikes. So while it's not super clear that a rate hike will impact Bitcoin negatively, it is very clear that a rate hike will impact the dollar positively. And that's important because right now we have a very clear relationship between the dollar and Bitcoin, where when the dollar gains strength, Bitcoin tends to lose strength. So even though we didn't really see that being reflected with Bitcoin previously, I think we're going to see it happening to Bitcoin now, given how well the dollar has performed every time these hikes happen. So if we get another one right now, like I said, generally these hikes have done, have done good things for the dollar. It's made the dollar stronger. I think that could end up leading the dollar to rise a little bit more, which, kind of brings us on to the next somewhat concerning thing on this chart, which I haven't actually pulled up, but it's basically just this falling wedge right here, which could end up breaking bullish. This is something I have spoken to you guys about. If it does end up happening, that is the end of our sunshine for these markets, in my opinion. I think that things are going to turn really shit, and I'm definitely not looking forward to it whatsoever. And I think that could be a result of the interest rate hike news. But again, that does depend on if there's also some sort of, signal for slowing down the pace of raising these interest rates, right? They might hike it by 75 basis points, but they might then also announce something to the tune of, we're not going to keep doing this. And that could actually impact the markets positively. So we're going to know all of these answers within less than 6 hours from now at the time of me recording, probably like 5 hours from when you're watching this video. So this is all very, very exciting. Like I said, super time sensitive video right here, because depending on what ends up happening here, I think that we would be looking at some potentially really lucrative volatility, from the dollar, which would probably translate over to Bitcoin as well. So let's take a quick look at the dollar chart as well. I think this is an important one to look at. One of the key things I was saying is that I'm expecting to find resistance up here. Bam, we've done that. Perfect. The other thing I've said is that if we end up failing this green line, if the green line doesn't hold the market back, then this red line hopefully will. If this red line is what stops the dollar from continuing to rise, and then we end up getting a drop down, then perfect. I think, we're really going to get a very, very nice rally that's going to give Bitcoin another breath of life. But if this interest rate hike actually takes the dollar up to where it's done so basically the last 5 times, which is to say gives the dollar a really nice rise to the upside. And like I said, there's only one exception here, and this exception doesn't really even count in my opinion, because the dollar, just days afterwards did end up pumping anyway. It's actually somewhat similar to what happened right here, where nothing really happened for like the next week, but then bam, we shot up. And again, very similar case here, and then bam, we shot up, right? So I think that this is important to keep in mind, because if we do see something like this happening again to the dollar now, well then I don't necessarily think that this resistance is going to hold the dollar back. And in fact, we have to look at this on the daily time frame. We could end up seeing quite a substantial move. All we have to do really is get above one of these highs, and that's going to confirm for the dollar that we're no longer in this little downtrend. It is quite far away, certainly not something that I would say is likely at the moment, but I do think that it's still well worth keeping an eye on, making sure that your radar is adjusted to be watching this, because if not, well, that would just be quite an irresponsible move in my opinion. So there you go. Very, very important video. Hopefully I'm going to be coming back to you guys with another one later on today. I am still going to, I am also going to be making that video about the Sunday trading sessions. I know that I teased it a little bit in the last video, but I didn't quite talk about it very much. That's coming up as well. So just double check that you are subscribed so you don't miss that. If you're looking for more content from myself and my team, then check out this link in the description down below to my 𝗤𝗡𝗏𝗏𝗏 Telegram channel. It's just there in the description. It actually looks something a little bit like this. You're just gonna have to open up the description and scroll down to here, and this is where you can join my Telegram channel. Once you're in there, if you wanna, and this is where we're giving you more analysis on what I'm seeing in the market, giving you updates on my positions and so on and so forth. And once you're in there, you can also click on my name at the bottom of any post inside of 𝗓𝗡𝗧𝗏 Gold and then send message to ask me how to join VIP. We'll give you all the information. And of course, if you want to get access to the 𝗓𝗡𝗧𝗏 Academy course as well, free of charge, most of our VIP members are going to be getting that anyway, so well worth checking those things out. And then while you're down there, guys, like I said, BitGet offering you a very, very cool bonus. Definitely take advantage of it. This is free money that you can do whatever you like with, right? So if this kind of thing is something that looks exciting in terms of a short position, you won't even have to risk your own money, which is pretty damn cool, I would say. The fact that you get to make trades for free but keep the profits, definitely a bit of a life hack that alone could turn into something pretty damn impressive. So if it's something that sounds exciting to you, go ahead and check them out. And Bybit is also offering you guys up to $4,000 in bonuses. Same thing, a little bit harder to get the bonuses, but both are absolutely phenomenal exchanges, so definitely well worth checking them out. I'm not looking to do any short positions, but if I do see some signs that it's safe to re-enter that long, that's definitely going to be my priority for this current phase in the market. So there you go. Really hope you've enjoyed this one. You know exactly what to do. Hit up the like, subscribe, click the bell, all that good stuff, and I'm out. Bye-bye.